So my landlord just left my house. I get a knock at the door. It's Saturday. A little bit. So my landlord just left my house. I get a knock at the door. It's Saturday. A little bit before noon. I open it. It's my landlord. I'll let her in. She hands me this. She's giving me 24-hour notice that Section 8 is not paying my June rent tomorrow. Rent is due tomorrow. $1,100. $1,100. She expects me to come up with. Because they are no longer paying my rent, I have to pay it out of my pocket. I don't work. I'm not going to work. I will never have a job, ever. How does the government expect me to keep a roof over my 6 kids' head without Section 8? Just because I've been on it for 13 years doesn't mean I don't need it anymore. I need it now more than ever. $1,100. And you expect me to come up with that in 24 hours, or I have to get out. So pretty much, I'm gonna be out on the streets because there's no way I can come up with $1,100. So my landlord just...
It has begun. It has begun.
Shalom. Call William La Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Hakodash. Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Hakodash, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Hakodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders and the Akim and the Akwat of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just want to go into a quick video entitled "The Era of Recompenses Has Begun." As the guy said, after we saw the video of the lady, she was complaining, and that right there in a nutshell is America. The entitlement and the privilege. The only thing I would give her understand about what she's upset about is she had 24 hours, to from her landlord. They should have gave her, more time to be able to try to scramble and figure things out, right? But that's not the point. The point is that, you can't be entitled. The point is that these women have been careless, and they have been very proud because the government has duped them all. These feminists into thinking, the government said that they'll be her husband, basically, right? Her financial husband and her daddy, right? And take care of her. But now in these last days, the serpent, he's withdrawing all of his benefits that he used to give these women, because the society is catered to the woman first and foremost. And we seeing, as I've made a video a year or two ago, saying the fall of E is the fall of women. And as he's falling, he's going to restore. It's just like a body, right? Your body, when it's trying to survive, right? If you're out in the winter and you're out there in the cold, the body withdraws blood from the furthest most extremities, into the torso, right? So you start getting frozen around your toes and fingers first, and then further and further up, right? Until you freeze to death. The blood withdraws, comes back into the torso, around the heart and mind, right? To keep the blood around there, it's a survival tactic. If the blood retreats, to keep the body warm in the most important areas, and then let other parts die out first, that it can withstand dying, right? Until it just freezes all the way over and die, right? So that's what this society, Esau, he's at the core, it's the center of everything. And then he's given his resources and his benefits to certain extremities throughout his country, right? Mainly to the women, especially the black, the black woman, to destroy the so-called black household, right? And then as his society is falling and dying, he's withdrawing his resources, his lifeblood, to those that he's giving benefits to, and he keeping it for himself until he dies, right? He's the last one that's going to die. Everything else around him going to die first. And so that's what's going on right now. He's withdrawing his resources as he's falling and being surrounded in debt and thick clay, that debt, right? And he's removing his benefits, his finances. He's going to save a lot of money doing that. And chiefly, and contrary to popular belief, so-called white people, the Edomites, they're the ones that are the greatest welfare recipients on planet Earth, especially those little hats over there that get those billions of dollars annually from the whore America. Those as the little hats over there that's saying that they're the ish people, right? So it's a beautiful thing to watch, seeing our enemies fall. And part of our enemies with our chief enemy is the so-called white man, because he hates us, right? Just look at the systemic racism. And then the woman that he's weaponized against us, chiefly the black woman, right? So it has begun, right? He's withdrawing his lifeblood into these women, and they're going to be the first ones to feel it. The women and children, the women that's separated from their men in pride, thinking that they're going to be okay because the government got them. Well, the government got them for a season because it was to destroy marriages, and actually to destroy all marriages, no matter the race, but chiefly the Israelites. And amongst the Israelites, the top tribe, the tribe of Judah, so-called blacks. He wanted to destroy them by destroying the black woman, to get her out of order, to destroy the house. It's been a very wicked plot and plan, right? But the Most High is not going to allow wickedness to thrive forever. So we'll get 1 Thessalonians 5:2. First, I know I clicked that. I don't know what's going on. 1 Thessalonians 5:2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. And so that lady there, she's complaining, somebody she's not going to work, that's entitlement and privilege. She could have been at least having a part-time job where she could have been just saving that in a savings account, let that pile up for a rainy day, which was right then, right? So, and now that judgment came upon her like a thief in the night. She had only 24 hours, and that's what's going to happen. The judgment of the Lord is going to spring forth within an instant, and people not going to understand. They're going to complain, they're going to be terrified, they're going to, and in a lot of cases, it's going to be death, right? Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. See, these women are at ease. She's sitting up on, for 13 years, sitting up on Section 8. And a lot of women probably longer than that, and shorter than that. And they get proud thinking that they're going to be good forever, And they're at ease. So they about to be destroyed for that wickedness. So verse 10, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. So they're careless women, the vintage is going to fail, and it's failing now, and they're feeling, and these scriptures are timeless, And so that's happening here in Babylon the Great. The vintage was in its prime and flowing, right? Getting free money, free life, free room and board and food. And now the serpent, just like that, comes and just rip it away with just a 24-hour notice, So these people have a great rude awakening and judgment that's awaiting them. Psalms 91:8. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. And we're seeing it in person and digitally. The judgments is going to be televised and is being broadcast through social media. That's the new modern way. Verse 9. Because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. Verse 10. There shall there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. You see, that's the Most High blessing those that has made the Almighty power Yahweh their dwelling, and they have ran into the strong tower of the name of Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. So no evil is going to befall us. We may go through the pains of sin, of the results of this economy crashing, but just like remember Yahweh Shai first and foremost, right? The Messiah, and then other men that were preserved through the judgment times, right? The days of judgment, like Elijah the prophet. The Most High had told him to go by a brook, go by a creek that had water that he can drink and sustain him, and then he can go by that tree by the creek, and he sent ravens to bring him food, and to sustain him. So that's what's going to occur. Again, nothing new under the sun. So these things that are written for our comfort in these days, to know that when times of judgment, whatever era that we're in, judgment or peace, or we have the accounts of what happened and what to do first and foremost as our foundation to be okay through all of to be okay no matter what occurs. Our strong foundation. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the accounts of Yahweh Shai and Elijah and the prophets and the men of the Lord that were preserved, and Daniel thrown in the lion's den, right? The three holy children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Thrown in the fire. So, and Yahweh Shai came and comforted them and protected them from the fire, right? The Son of Man, Yahweh Shai. So, all of these different accounts we have for our comfort, because we know that those times are going to come. So these are the last days, so it's definitely going to occur again. But we have the comfort of knowing the men of the Lord and women, and children are going to be covered in these days. Isaiah 3:10. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. So it's going to be well with us, because we're righteous trees and wicked rotten trees, right? That woman we seen in the video, she's a rotten tree, and she has rotten fruit that's about to come that she's going to have to eat. That cup is going to come, and she's going to drink that cup of judgment, and everyone that do wickedly, right? You see the pride, arrogance, and the entitlement all over it, right? And the righteous trees, those that sow into the spirit, going to reap the covering of protection in these days from the Heavenly Father Yahweh through our big brother Yahweh Shah. Verse 11. Woe unto the wicked. Woe means destruction. Destruction unto the wicked. It shall be ill. It shall be ill meaning bad, right? Evil. It shall be ill with him. For the reward of his hands shall be given him. So, every man's going to receive of that which he's sown. So you've sown to the spirit, you're going to receive spiritual blessings. If you sow to the flesh, you're going to receive carnal, evil judgment. Just evil, to come upon you. Verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors. See, because the women are wicked, and they're ruling over men, and the children do whatever they want. Men can't properly chasten their children because the woman is sitting there waiting to go off on them, right? And women rule over them. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on all throughout Babylon the Great, America. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err. So these false Pharisees, because they were good Pharisees, but most of them were evil and wicked, right? And the modern day wicked Pharisees are the pastors of these Christianity churches and Baptist churches. These black pastors, right? Black meaning devoid of light. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, meaning error means sin. eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, and all manner of unclean, unlawful foods, and putting forth evil deeds, and destroyed the way of thy past. Allowing people to be homosexuals in there. Pastors coming out with presenting their homosexual husbands, right? Just all manner of Sodom and Gomorrah wickedness. Micah 7:10. Then she that is mine enemy, and Esau, so-called white man, has weaponized the Israelite woman, chiefly, especially that black woman, right? She's our enemy these days. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and seeing that judgment coming down, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh, thy power? Just like Job's wife was wicked, right? And our women is in that same spirit of Jezebel. Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Like Lot's wife looked back because she desiring of that place that she was leaving, and got turned to a pillar of salt, right? So these evil, wicked women, modern day Jezebels, are going to be trodden down in the streets the same way Jezebel was destroyed, right? The end of a wicked woman is not good. It's going to be ill unto her. Men as well, but we know these women are running this society, because they even got wicked Beyonce, got that song, "Who Run the World? Girls. Who Run the World? Girls." I was looking at this TV show the other day, and like this little like American Ninja type show, where they run over the obstacle course, and the female, she completed the course, and then she started dancing and started singing "Who Run the World? Girls." I'm like, man, these women are just out of control and out of order. Well, they're going to be destroyed, and this world is wicked and destroyed, and if they running it right, then that shows you that they are the ones are responsible for the destruction, and they're going to receive that. The results of this society is a witness against them, and then they'll find some kind of way to try and manipulate and get proud and debate, because that's just the nature of these evil, wicked women. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. Shall not all these take up a let me start that over. Shall not a dang. All right, 6 from the top. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay is going into debt. So they're going to take up a parable, a taunting proverb, woe unto him, and destruction unto who? Esau, the so-called white man. He increaseth that which is not his, meaning what? It started out as 13 colonies over here in America, right? Then they kept still taking land, and they bought the Louisiana Purchase, when they bought all the Louisiana and all that land mass, and kept on building, increasing hills more and more. Became the United States of America, the divided snakes of America, right? So he increasing a blood-soaked country, that he stole and shed blood and enslaved for. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And we know one of the first immediate aspects of the so-called white man's debt is what? The China debt, because everything's made in China, and they are trillions. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are in debt in trillions to the Chinese. So basically, China, who are the Moabites, the children of Moab, they pretty much own this country through the debt alone. Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So, when you in such massive debt to someone, you're a slave unto them. They're over you, right? And so booties meaning a spoiling, being spoiled, being robbed of, being taken of your, like a nation come in and take the resources and goods of them. So that's karma, as they call it, karma. That's righteous. That's what goes around comes around, because the whore, America, has made all the other countries their booties, meaning stealing, spoiling all nations, have taken all of their resources and colonized it, right? And set up puppet leaders of other nations. And now it's going to come back upon them, because that righteous boomerang effect, right? It's going to come back into them, into their own head. And then they're going to get spoiled and robbed and be booties into the other nations. Verse 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations. And that's what that's going into right there. That's the spirit. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So it's going to come right back upon them. Because of men's blood and for the violence of the land. And we know that the most violent man on earth is so-called white man, right? And for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Verse 9. Okay, let's see. Well, verse 9. Woe, destruction to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. You see, he wickedly covet everything, right? And then covet, he cannot have enough. He's not satisfied with what he has, and he want to come up with new policies, new ways to steal and destroy and oppress. That he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. You see, that's that just evil. He's thinking that he'll be able to hide himself in rich. He's wickedly trusting in his riches, just like he dig into hell, right? Meaning creating these doomsday bunkers, going into the mountains, into the deep underground bunkers, thinking he's going to be delivered from the nuclear fire and the judgment of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai when he returns. Verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. See, he's destroyed the whole earth, chiefly the Israelites, and then he spread out his colonization and spread evils and cutting off other nations and ruling over them, making them vassal states, right? Puppet states of the whore, America. And so he's been sinning against his own soul. Let's see, verse 12. We drop down to verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. So that means establisheth, meaning what? Establishing a city by sin, by blood, right? So that's just the end of this place. So, it's beginning with these women. As I said, made that analogy about the body, how it's very smart from the Most High Power, put these survival instincts in the body, right? And so the body of America, the so-called white man, he has different levels. He's the head, and then he has other parts of his body of rulership. And a part of his rulership is these women. They're co-rulers, because they have a certain level of power over their households, over men and wickedness. And they're going to feel it first as the devil began to withdraw his lifeblood from them first and their children. And then, the men are going to suffer, but not as much as these women that has been proud and don't have men to protect them, right? And it's all been a great setup by the serpent. So, the era of recompenses has begun. So with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The waters of Rachak Wadash Ba'Hashem. Yahweh Shai for another video. Until next video, I say, Shalom.